There we go. Go ahead, Laura.
Okay. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm Laura Pearson. I'm the Workforce Development Coordinator for the St. Lawrence County Chamber of Commerce. This monthly educational webinar series is made possible by the generous support of St. Lawrence University and Clarkson University, who are leadership circle supporters of the Chamber. Before I introduce today's presenters, I want to run through a few items. First, your mics have been muted and your webcams have been disabled. But if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to type them into the chat window and we will do our best to answer them. Please note that this session is being recorded for the purposes of broadcasting on our webinar archive and YouTube channel, which is named SLC Chamber NY. After the presentations are complete, we will open the floor for any Q&A. We do try to keep the webinars to under an hour so you can get back to work. If you're interested in presenting or have a topic you would like us to present, please contact me. I would like to introduce and welcome our two esteemed presenters, Dr. Liz Brown, Adjunct Professor from SUNY Canton, and Provost Alan Hersker from SUNY Potsdam. They will discuss the micro-credentialing programs at their colleges. We are so grateful for both of you for joining us today. Welcome, Dr. Brown and Dr. Hersker. Dr. Brown, we will start off with your presentation.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my screen real quick.
I put you on the spot, didn't I, Liz?
Yes. Let's see. Oops. Okay. Are you able to see the full slideshow?
Yeah, we can see the first title page.
Perfect. Okay, so welcome. Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be attending your Lunch and Learn today. My name's Liz Brown. I'm the Executive Director for our Center for Workforce, Community, and Industry Partnerships at SUNY Canton. I've been here for a little over 16 years now. Used to teach forensic science, and then I moved into the workforce side a year ago. If you have questions after the presentation, feel free to email me, give me a call, and there is our center website too if you want to see more information that I'm going to be talking about. So I'm trying to come up with a Valentine's Day theme because I know it is Valentine's. Everyone's taken their lunch break to be here today. First thing I wanted to talk about was Micro Course Monday. And this is something we started a little over a year ago. It is offered every Monday at 3 p.m. It's free, it's open to the public, and you can attend in 3 different modalities. You can come live in person if you want, and come see Dana Hall on our campus. It's in the same location in Dana Hall every Monday. You can attend live online, just like we're doing right now, and interact with the presenter and anyone else who's in the class, or we will post the recording after the fact. And everyone is welcome to Micro Course Monday. And why I like to start with that is because we've aligned each of these micro courses to a specific badge that links to our credit and our non-credit, including our workforce development side of the house. So if you end up attending one of these micro courses, you'll receive a certificate and a digital badge aligning to one of these competencies. So I have our upcoming schedule. This is our spring schedule. We'll take a few weeks off once the semester ends in May. And then the summer, we kick off a 5-week series in cooking. So that one was extremely popular last summer. We learned to roll sushi. We grilled. We made pasta sauces. We made a charcuterie board. More than likely, people learned how to spell charcuterie, which is a thumbs up from me for that one. And then they'll kick off again in the fall with the full 15-week series. Sorry. So on the side of workforce development with these micro course Mondays, we have certain ones like the one on February 26th. It's our air source heat pump. And then on March 18th, our ground source heat pump, and on April 15th, our sustainable living and building. Those are directly lined with workforce development initiatives that we're working on right now, and aligned with a current NYSERDA grant that we have to provide that workforce information to the public. So we try to give a broad range of topics, but then tie a few of them to some specific workforce things that we know the community would be interested in. Just this past Monday, we talked about internal combustion engines versus electric vehicles, the pros and cons of both, the differences, and that was very, drew a lot of participants from the community to that one. So that was one of the same ones along the lines of workforce development. And each one is directly aligned to our credit and non-credit offerings on campus. So if you open up any of those links, this is what you'll see. So this next one on advocacy coming up on Monday, we have that still interested in the topic. It links to the course that if you want a greater information on the topic, you can audit a class if you want, if you're from the community. Auditing classes are $50 for the class, or if you're over the age of 60, it's for free. So if you want more information, you can enroll in that class. Or we also have it linked to our campaigning and community advocacy micro-credential. And then we're working on a few coming up that will be non-credit workforce development ones along this line as well. So it's kind of, I think of it as like a free taste of a topic. Come for an hour, learn a little bit about it. If it piques your interest, great. Enroll in the class or enroll in the larger micro-credential, or maybe enroll in the full degree program. But all of the micro-credentials are linked to credit and non-credit bearing initiatives we have on our campus, outside of the cooking ones. But those are just fun because it's summertime. But we do try to make a good effort that everything directly aligns into those to encourage people, whether they're our own students or somebody from the community, in enrolling in one of those future micro-credentials. So our credit-bearing micro-credentials, these are a grouping of courses that typically range from about 6 credits up to around 12 credits. And they give you a more concentrated delving into a specific topic. So it's not as much as you would have in a 2-year or a 4-year degree. It's a little bit less than you might have in a minor, but it gives you that extra information that you might need for your current job, or that extra information to make you stand out in the job market. Each of these are transcripted, so you will receive a transcript from the college with that micro-credential and the credits, and then you'll also receive a digital badge for each of them. So we have kind of 3 groupings of our micro-credentials. The first one's targeted to current students who are in a specific major. So I'm going to use criminal investigations as an example. We had some past grads come back and say, for court testimony, it would be helpful to have these couple courses that we're really going to highlight in court to be packaged as a micro-credential. So thus we formed our investigative analysis micro-credential. Most of our micro-credentials, though, are the other 2 categories. They're either targeted to current students at the college who are in a degree program, but would like something from a different program that would enhance their knowledge and enhance their resume. So our computer science students might be interested in a game design micro-credential, that would give them that knowledge so they could hopefully get a job in that field. Or our game design students are really interested in having a micro-credential in technical communications. So that sort of thing. It's offered to our own students, but anyone can enroll in those micro-credentials. And then the third pocket are ones from industry. So industry feedback we've had on, I'm currently working in the field, but I need to learn about this, X, Y, and Z in order to either move into a different job or upskill in my current job. So when I show you in a second all of our micro-credentials, they fall into one of those three categories. So here's our suite of credit-bearing micro-credentials. I just highlighted a few. Emergency management is one of those that we have a degree program. So obviously those students aren't achieving that micro-credential, but we have had people in industry that want to move into that sector of law enforcement, and they come back for emergency management. Investigative analysis, I mentioned, that one's very specific to the criminal investigation students. Data science, healthcare leadership, network security, those were all driven by industry requests for things to upskill in new jobs. We have 12 new credit-bearing micro-credentials that are going to be added this summer and fall. Our two newest ones that we just started offering, and these were driven by a community request, were coaching. We started that one this past fall, and then sports officiating, and that one's running this spring. So again, we try to kind of intermix in those 12 that will be coming up to fit one of those three categories. But we definitely, based on, community requests, advisory boards, past grads, anyone that kind of comes back and says, hey, this one would be great for the North Country or my business. We would love to have a micro-credential on this topic. That's how we create these that we're offering. We also have a subset of those micro-credentials that are direct to job micro-credentials, and those are listed on the New York State Department of Labor Virtual Career Center, which was a partnership through SUNY that just launched this past fall. So if your area of interest or the job that you're looking on that virtual career center links to one of those micro-credentials, it will directly pull that up and link to the SUNY website for one of those. So the specific ones that we have that are on that Department of Labor website are the ones listed. These are also the ones you might have seen the announcement, I believe it was last week, from the governor, that we can now award part-time TAP for non-degree credentials. This is the list of those micro-credentials that were approved by both SUNY and the state. So we could award that part-time TAP for non-degree. So again, they're the ones that directly linked to a specific job. And then on the non-credit micro-credential side of the house, that's our workforce development. So these are not credit-based, they're driven by hours. And the big thing though is they can convert to credit. So if you come to a workforce development training and maybe you're really interested in that topic, and in your job, they tell you if you come for an associate's degree or you come for a 4-year degree, you could move up in the company. We can, through our prior learning credit process, we link those to credits. So even though you've attended the training, we can convert those over to credits for people. And the same with the part-time TAP. On the credit-bearing side, we also had 2 of our workforce development programs approved on the non-degrees or on the non-credit side. The first one's our CDL program, which is one of our longest running workforce development programs. This one has been extremely popular. We offer about 5 to 6 cohorts of students every year into this. We've had a great relationship with One Stop IDA in providing funding for St. Lawrence County residents. We have a partnership right now with Cornell Cooperative through a grant to allow 10 people, I believe, to come through the CDL program this year. And now it will also qualify for that part-time TAP. We also have, and I want to mention with the CDL program, it is directly linked to credits within our 2-year automotive program. So if you come for the CDL program, it'll directly convert to 4 credits if you come for the degree, but we also offer it to those degree-seeking students. So that will be a new thing that will be starting this fall. Any student on campus who's looking for additional credits under, as a general elective or automotive as a program elective can enroll in the CDL program. And that was driven by an industry request that a lot of our grads from our electrical technology and electrical engineering majors were going into like National Grid, and to run a bucket truck, you needed your CDLB. So we wanted to incorporate that into the degree program to make those students, more appealing when they go out for their job, that they could get the job and they already have this credential. The second one that was approved is our workforce development for our New York State security guard training. We do the initial training that you need to get your license. We do the 90-day training once you get a job, and we do the 1-year annual requirement to maintain that position. So all 3 of those were recognized under a part-time TAP. The security guard one, we usually run once a semester. I think it's going to be the very end of April this year, if anyone's interested in taking that. And our CDL one, we're booked right now until October. But if you're interested, still send in your application for the next cohort after October. And then finally, we also create credit and non-credit micro-credentials based on requests. So a lot of those that I've already highlighted have been driven by industry requests. We work with a lot of industry partners locally. We have about 3 or 4 non-credit micro-credential trainings that are slated to be offered end of spring semester through the fall based on industry requests. And if you'd like to develop a training or a micro-credential, just reach out, let us know. We're always open to talk about things, especially when it's a new topic. Right now AI is huge, so that's things that people are concentrating on in micro-credentials. So if there's something of interest to your business, just let us know. And I don't know if you want Laura to take questions now, you want me to wait until...
I think we're going to wait till the end,
Okay.
Liz. So if you guys could either put your questions in the chat or wait till the end, and then we'll have Liz and Alan address those. So you ready, Alan? We're going to turn it over to you.
I sure am. Thank you very much. Let me see if I can share my screen and get my presentation going. Oh, there we go. Okay, great. So you can tell that I've been out of the classroom for a few years. All right. Can you see my screen?
We can see it now, Alan.
Perfect, great.
I think, Alan, yeah, there you go.
All right, there we go, perfect. All right, great. So welcome everyone, and I'll echo Dr. Brown. Thank you for being here on for your lunch hour and for Valentine's Day. Unlike Dr. Brown, if Potsdam's color wasn't red, I would actually not be acknowledging Valentine's Day at all. But I do want to welcome you all. Micro-credentials are really one of the hot new things in continuing education and higher education. I think you'll see by by my presentation, SUNY Canton and Potsdam have taken a different tact with them. But I think that's kind of a good illustration of just how many different approaches there are to micro-credentials out there. And I think, we want you, to stay local and to, take your micro-credentials through Canton or through Potsdam. But I think the biggest thing is to make sure, that you're choosing a micro-credential, a path of study that's going to be comfortable for you. And I put this into chat, or I will put this into chat when I get done. SUNY has a dizzying array of micro-credentials, and I would recommend you take a look at their website. That's it. That's the address right there. You can get a sense of the breadth and the depth you can take by just staying within the SUNY system. I want to back up, I think, maybe just a little bit. And I think it's, you know, I think it's important that we are always informed consumers. So I actually just wanted to take a minute or two to kind of run through some of the things as you're out there shopping for a micro-credential, some of the things you want to be paying attention to, and I think some of the questions you want to be asking. The biggest one is who is teaching the micro-credential. You know, there are, and you want to pay attention to two things. I think the best micro-credentials are not necessarily ones where you are in kind of a self-directed study, you know, where you're kind of running through things at your own pace. To really get the benefit of working with a qualified instructor, you want to make sure that you're going to have some interaction with that person as the micro-credential is going on. I'd also pay attention to who is actually teaching the micro-credentials. And there are some fairly big for-profit companies like Lumen who offer micro-credentials, and they often kind of go through a third-party college to present those. Some of those are very good, and I would not want to take them away or take anything away from them. But again, I think the best experience you're going to have is if you have an opportunity in your micro-credential to work closely with an instructor. Dr. Brown highlighted, you know, that there is a difference between credit bearing and non-credit bearing. You want to pay attention to that as you're going into this. I think, you know, Canton does a really great job. And it's important that even if you're taking it for non-credit, you do have the opportunity at Canton to then convert it over to a credit-bearing option. As with anything, you know, the credit-bearing option is going to carry a little bit more cachet to it, you know, because I think we can think in terms of, you know, college course for credit. A third important thing to keep in mind, is this an online experience? Is this an in-person experience, or is this a hybrid experience that's going to you know, encompass both of those modalities? Obviously, you know, you need to know where you're going to be for your course. Asynchronous versus synchronous. Again, you know, in micro-credential experiences which are virtual, which are online, they can either be virtual in that, you know, you are you know, tuning in, you know, Mondays and Wednesdays from 6 until 7 p.m. to listen to your instructor and to participate in class, or an asynchronous version where, you know, you have a learning management system where you are logging in whenever you want, you're participating in discussions, you know, you're submitting your assignments, you're doing whatever, but in an environment that doesn't necessarily tie you to a particular time. Obviously, you know, we're adults, we've got responsibilities. You know, you need to think about what's going to work best for you and for your lifestyle. As you're looking at micro-credentials, make sure you know, pay attention to the time to completion. You know, is this going to be a you know, 6 credit or 2 courses that you can complete in 6 weeks? Or is this going to be, you know, a 15 credit micro-credential, which may take you, you know, 3 semesters to complete? How much time commitment do you have, and are you willing to give in here? A big word in the micro-credential scene is stackable. Dr. Brown talked about that. You know, is this series of credit-bearing courses or units in the micro-credential, does that, you know, can you stack onto that and get an associate's degree? Or maybe stack a little bit more and get a bachelor's degree, or stack yet more and get a master's degree. So do these courses provide you with a direct avenue or direct you know, path to completing a degree? What do you get? You know, do you get a certificate? Do you get an electronic badge? You know, is this something that you're going to be able to use in LinkedIn in your professional profile? You know, what's beside the skill that you're getting? How are you going to be able to demonstrate your completion of this micro-credential to an employer? Yeah. And how much, right? I think, you know, that's the big question here. This, again, I'm going to put a really big push for SUNY in. SUNY credit-bearing microcredentials, $295 a credit, right? The SUNY tuition rate is set by the state. They're a great value for the money at any SUNY school. Private colleges, you want to be a little bit more careful. Tuition rates can vary. I will say, though, even at a SUNY school, as you're looking at your microcredential or thinking about a microcredential, pay attention to any other costs in there, right? Are there fees for the microcredentials? Is there additional material you need to buy? So make sure you get a sense of what the total cost for it's going to be. So that's just some really quick consumer stuff, and I want to run through. I mentioned that SUNY Canton and Potsdam are taking a different tact on this. SUNY Canton has been in the microcredential business longer than we are. We've really held back on that for a number of reasons, but I think one of the main ones is because we want to make sure that we're really we have a smaller number of microcredentials. We're focusing deeply rather than broadly. Over the next couple months, we have 3 microcredentials that we're going to be rolling out. The first one is through our Crane School of Music. It's a band instrument repair technology microcredential. This is going to be training New York State certified music teachers and band directors, basically to do basic repairs and tune-ups of band Instruments. It's going to be 6 to 9 credits. This actually is going to be an in-person experience for us. It's going to be 5 weeks over the summer, and it's going to include housing and meals on our campus. So this really is going to have a statewide appeal, in addition to drawing people from around local school districts. So we're really excited about this. We have an integrated pest management microcredential also in the works. This is basically, and I don't know if there's I have a small hobby farm, so I knew more about this than maybe most. But if any of you do any gardening or are involved in the agricultural sector, IPM is basically using a combination of techniques and products in order to control pests in agricultural settings, for businesses, for home growers. Basically keeping pests under control without an inordinate use of chemical pesticides or other things which are not good for our environment. It's not anti-pesticides, but it does use them very judiciously. So it's a much more environmentally conscious pest management strategy. That's going to be 9 credits. It's going to actually involve, this is a hybrid model, which is going to involve both online and in-person experiences at our Wiser Center here on campus. So we're particularly, especially with the agricultural focus in the North Country, we're particularly excited about this one as well. The third one I want to mention is diversity, equity, inclusion in the workplace. We are working with a community partner on this to offer a 6-credit experience. And what's great about this is not just a course-based microcredential. This also has an applied learning component to it. So participants in this microcredential are going to get the fundamentals of DEI. They're going to, from a sociology perspective, but they're also going to have the opportunity to work with the instructor, to work with their supervisor in work, to design a small but significant study or applied learning project that's going to benefit the organization as well. And it's our instructors work closely with the students and then with the company to design projects which are going to be, as I said, impactful and important. So those are just a couple of ones that you're going to see shortly, a couple months from us. And then we also have some ones that were under development. They're a little bit further behind, but that I still wanted to note. Our business management faculty are working on a not-for-profit leadership microcredential. I think that one's looking to be about 9 credits, about 3 courses. we are working with our kind of copying a bit from, and Dr. Brown, I don't know if I'm not sure if Canton has this or not, but I know JCC has a direct service provider training. We're looking to do something similar to that. And AI, as Dr. Brown mentioned, AI is one of the hot topics now. I think we are, we can't not use AI. AI is here. It is part of our lives. It is going to be a bigger part of our lives. But I think what we want to talk more about is how do we kind of harness AI, particularly living where we are, right, in a relatively rural environment. What can we use AI for? So, and then I guess the last thing, and again, I'll echo Dr. Brown again in SUNY Canton. We would love to work with you. I think that the local campuses are particularly like Canton and like Potsdam are particularly well suited to partner with you and with your organization to design a micro-credential that that your folks need. What skills, what knowledge, what can we help you train your folks to do? And I think Dr. Brown would echo me. If your workforce, if your staff has a need, chances are other people in the area are going to have it too. We would love to partner with you and to work with you on designing a boutique micro-credential, if you will, that's going to work for you and your organization. Same thing, if you've got questions, if you would like to work with us, if you've got ideas, please feel free to contact me. It's a fairly easy email, provost@potsdam.edu. And we would love to see you on campus and love to be working with you on micro-credentials. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alan. Thank you, Liz. That was pretty phenomenal. You guys did a great job. You had different spectrums. I love that. It was great. Emily had a question that Liz answered. SUNY Canton is doing I just missed it.
I can mention what it is, Laura, if you want.
Go ahead.
I didn't include it in my presentation, but yes, SUNY Canton was awarded that OPWDD grant, just like the one from JCC. They started about 6 months ago. We're going to be launching the DSP1 this summer. And then in the fall, we'll be doing DSP1 and DSP2. And then in 2025, we'll be doing DSP1, 2, 3, and the frontline supervisor. All of them do fall under that OPWDD grant, which means it's a crazy grant, by the way. It covers all tuition, fees, textbooks. I know. And when you complete each DSP level, you get a $750 stipend. So,
oh, wow.
Yes, and they keep expanding it. And right now we have the grant until December of 2028. So I'm working with all of the local partner agencies right now, and you'll see a press release coming out shortly about it for the marketing. But Emily, if you put your email in there, I will love to send you more info about it.
And Dr. Brown, thank you for that. I have not done my homework. If I had, I would have recognized that Canton was working on that. I think that is great, and I will, if I could voice my support for that program. I'm not sure we're gonna. I think we're gonna rethink this now because there's no sense. We're not going to compete with you. I want to be better partners in that. But this is great. Thank you. It's such an important program for our community. I think it's great that Canton's offering it. So awesome.
Cool. If anyone would like to unmute themselves, I think they can unmute themselves, can't they, Ben? If they would like to ask a question out loud instead of putting it in the chat, that would be pretty cool.
Yep, that's cool too. They can either chime in with a question over their microphone or through the chat.
Yes. I'm interested in the Micro Monday because I'm over 60, so I think that's pretty cool.
The micro course Monday is everyone is welcome, regardless of age. So, but if you're over 60, you can audit a course for free if
Oh,
you would like to do
see,
that.
I didn't get my information correct. So that's great, Liz. Thank you.
Yep.
So I think I'm going to be looking at all this stuff. We were looking at professional development, Ben. I think we need to send the staff to the
Up to the
website.
cooking. The cooking ones were super fun.
Were they?
Yes.
You had me at sushi, Liz.
Yes.
Yes, Karen.
I have an idea. Teacher assistant, that's always a job need, and not everybody has coursework that to become a teacher and then, takes a teacher assistant job while they're waiting for a teaching position to open up. But
Yeah.
BOCES is always advertising that.
Yeah, that's an awesome one, Karen, and I think that's a particularly good example of something which would be an excellent stackable micro-credential, right? Where you could ultimately stack it into a associate's or bachelor's or master's degree. Yeah. Yep.
Cool. Thanks, Karen.
Okay, I'll look for that in the next few months, Alan.
Yep, we'll get that up next week.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Draper. I'm the Director of Quality Services and Staff Development at the ARC Jefferson St. Lawrence. Liz, we talked recently, or maybe this week. I just have a question about, do the staff going through the DSP microcredentialing, do they need to be affiliated with an agency to go through that program to receive the OPWDD grant money?
Right now we have limited spots through the grant. So we're hoping that the people are affiliated with one of our partner agencies, but we will be opening it up. So if somebody is just interested in the topic, they can enter the DSP and they will count under OPWDD. There's just an added kind of internship with one of our partner agencies that they have to complete. It's something very small, like 10 hours or 20 hours. That's how we kind of tie it back into those partner agencies.
Okay, all right,
Yep.
Thank you.
Another
Karen?
idea. Grant administration.
Oh, that's a good one.
A lot of our municipalities don't go after larger grants because no, you can hire a grant writer. But then if you are lucky enough to get the award in our local municipalities, they just can't handle it. The administration, the paperwork and all that's involved.
Mhm.
It's another good one. Thank you. And you would not see grant writing as a, you think
Sure, that too.
Yeah.
You got to get the grant to administer it, so.
I think I saw grants consultant entered the participants groups here to this chat. So maybe maybe some connections there.
Also, Ben, do you think it's appropriate to have Liz and Alan put their courses on our community calendar?
Yeah, we'll figure out I think it would be a good thing for us to communicate the programs and stuff through our other communication channels. So let's be in touch about that, Liz and Alan.
Yep.
I'd like to just note that it's just a comment that it's great how you are really responding to local need with these micro-credential programs. We've seen, and your workforce development programs in general and educational programs, we've certainly been working with you a long time on that with things like the CDL program and other things. And I guess any other comments from Liz and Alan relative to, a lot of the people on the call today here are, business owners. They are going to be looking at this as an opportunity to develop their workforce. So in terms of the opportunity to engage those micro-credential programs for their workforce development needs at their businesses, and potentially present additional areas of need to them, I think is an important thing.
After we upload this video to our YouTube channel, I do send out the handouts and the YouTube link to anyone who signed up for the webinar. And you're free to share the webinar with your other partners, with the other people in your community to get the word out about the programs that SUNY Potsdam and SUNY Canton are offering. It's a good way to help them keep going with the program by having people utilize the program. So,
and I can answer kind of what your question was, Ben. We have a lot of ones in the pipeline with workforce. I think I saw Lori Sibley on this call, so I'm going to call her out because we talk all the time. But whenever there's one, like fiber optic splicing is one that we're finalizing right now. And, you know, that was something that was brought to us by the local IDA and by industry. And we've worked with them over the last few months to develop the curriculum, to get the instructor, to get it offered. So I think, you know, that's just one of the examples of ones that, you know, was brought to us with a local need, but also an industry partner that wanted to bring their own employees to build up their workforce, but also open it up to other businesses. And hopefully we can get more people trained in something that is really a high demand field, especially in the North Country.
Yeah, and I'll, you know, I'll just, and Addis has had her hand up for a little bit, so I don't want to talk too long. You want to get to them. But yeah, same thing, you know, we've had, you know, good, strong connections with our community health and our public health program with local organizations. You know, clearly is, you know, teacher preparation programs. You know, we've got a lot of partnerships with local and regional schools. So this, you know, really micro-credentials we're taking that as an opportunity to connect with more and different industries in the North Country to really, you know, again, you know, like SUNY Canton and Dr. Brown, you know, to provide the kinds of skills and training that folks need. So, but Addison.
Thank
Yes.
you, Alan. I have a question. It might be directly to Liz. So I am representing Air Products. We are coming to Messina in a couple of years, and we went to your career fair and we had a great time. We talked to the students there, but we also need some professionals in other positions that might not be directly to the career fair. So I'm very interested in that CDL training program. Because of the nature of the business that we do, we might not be able to hire very much entry level, but is there a way to get students that already did this training in the past couple of years that at this point they might be a little bit more seasoned?
Yes. We have been running the program for about 5 years at this point, 5 times a year. So we have about 25 to 35 students every year. And I do have a list of all of our past students. Like just yesterday, Pepsi reached out and said, hey, in Ogdensburg, we're hiring 2 CDLA drivers. Can you put this out to all past grads? So I sent that out to them. So yes, if you have an employment need, an idea, especially a date, I can keep that in mind for our future classes too. That's definitely something that we have that list with our past grads. I can send that out for you.
Perfect. That's amazing. Like we are not gonna be there just yet. It's gonna be about 2-3 years, but that's something that we are trying to get on early on. So the CDL, we are looking for mechanics, and we are working with Patrick and Lori, and we are working on getting like that curriculum ready to make sure that to see if there's anything that we can give you so we can train them on some of the things that we're going to be looking for, because our goal is to have our employees directly from that community instead of searching outside. So St. Lawrence, Jefferson, Franklin, we are looking to get them exactly from there.
If there's also a degree program that we offer that links into the positions that you're looking for and enhancing that with the CDL, let us know too. That's how we generated the new CDL class through auto and electrical, was just finding out from industry that, hey, if you have a grad that has both the degree and their CDLA already under their belt, they would be more desirable for the company. So if there's a different, major that you were targeting at the career fair too, that you think CDL would be great, let me know, because I'll reach out. You can come present to the program, but I'll try to get that incorporated for them.
Perfect, perfect. I have all my positions. I'm waiting for approval from the HRBP and the partners, just to make sure that the requirements that we have are the requirements that we want to put out there. So once we review all of those, we can share them and talk about how we can get them to these programs. Thank you so much.
Are there any more questions? Ben did put my contact information and Lori Sibley's contact, hi Lori, from the IDA in the chat in case you're looking for, Lori and I serve on a lot of workforce development committees, so we have access to a lot of businesses, Are there any other questions? So if there aren't any other questions, I'm going to finish up my spiel. Thank you to Dr. Brown and Dr. Hersker for your informative presentations. Now we will, sorry, wrong sheet. Thank you for your time and sharing of your expertise with us today. Thank you for all of you for joining us today. I hope this hour was valuable to you and provided useful information on how you and your staff can utilize the micro-credentialing programs at SUNY Canton and/or SUNY Potsdam to round out your degree, gain new skills or competencies, and help you in changing or advancing your careers. I would also like to thank Clarkson University and St. Lawrence University for their support in sponsoring this webinar series. Please follow and like our Facebook page to stay up to date with what's happening at the Chamber. If you have a topic that you would like to see presented or want to present, please let us know. We encourage you to view our other webinars in our Lunch and Learn series by going to slcchamber.org and clicking Archive Webinars in the right-hand menu. Or go to our YouTube channel, search for SLC Chamber NY. Also, if you know of any businesses that would benefit from membership in the St. Lawrence County Chamber of Commerce, please do refer them to us. We can be reached at 315-386-4000 or at info@slcchamber.org. Interested businesses can also learn about our benefits and apply for membership at www.slcchamber.org. Thank you again for joining us. Please have a great afternoon. I'd like to draw your attention to could you go back to the other slide, Ben, for our events? We have a business after hours on February 27th in Canton to meet Katie Perry, our Canton Community Coordinator. On March 5th, we have scheduled our nonprofit conference at the Best Western Inn in Canton. March 6th is cybersecurity for small businesses with Carol Ann Jacobs from Purple Perimeter. That is our Lunch and Learn webinar. March 20th is, no, that's not the right slide, sorry. Forget about that one. March 26th, Business Connections BOCES Tour. April 10th is Giving Constructive Feedback by Sharon Van Oken from SciTech. And April 30th, a shout out to our IDA Business Resource Mixer at the Best Western in Canton, and there'll be more information about that. So, sorry I was all confused on that slide. I had a typo on there and didn't realize it. So if you would like any further information, I will be sending out this webinar link and the handouts. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you to Liz and Alan for being our presenters today. And thanks to Ben for being my techie support.
And I'll just add, Laura, that if you're interested in any of those events that Laura mentioned, you can find them all on our website at slcchamber.org. You can go there and find the individual events and register right there on our website.
Yep.
Thank you all. It's good seeing you. Great to be
All
here.
right. Thanks, guys.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.